We are now ready to look at the robot challenge. So in this portion, what we're going to do is bring everything together that we've studied in this course, including programming, locomotion, sensors, and autonomy, and we are going to create a challenge in order to perform a task autonomously. All right, the task before you is as follows. You are going to clear a field of boulders. Okay, now what does this mean? A practical application of this would be, assume that we landed a bunch of autonomous rovers on the moon or on Mars, and we said you need to clear a big field so that we can land spaceships there. Okay, so we let these robots run for 6 months or a year, and when we come back, everything is cleared. There's no boulders, it's all flat, and everything is great. Now, practically speaking, what we're going to do is we are going to create a field, and we are going to put obstacles in it, which will represent boulders. And luckily, there's a line around our field, okay? So this makes it a little bit easier in order for our robot to actually stay inside of it. Now, when you look at how to begin, you are going to create a field on a white surface. So you're going to take a piece of black tape or a dark tape and make a big square, okay? Or a circle for that matter. You can, whatever shape you want to do. If you want to do black around white, that's fine, or white around black, it doesn't matter. Just, you know, you need the contrast because that's how you're going to keep your robot inside of your field. Okay, and then you're going to put some obstacles in it, so cans or tennis balls or whatever you want, wadded up piece of paper. Then you're going to create a robotic system to accomplish this task, and there's 2 levels. Okay, so level number 1 is you will search around inside of this field and you will detect the obstacles, and when you detect them, if you simply detect them and decide to push them out, then that would be achieving a level 1, okay? But level 2 would be when you detect one of these, you have a mechanism to actively remove the obstacles. Okay, so there's 2 levels that you can obtain on this challenge. How are you even going to get started? Okay, so number 1, you are going to add something to your robot to move the obstacles. Okay, so for level 1, you're going to just simply add, you know, something on the front that will allow you to push out the obstacles. Okay, so that could be just another beam or something, a little U or something. So right now your robot doesn't really have anything that would, when you see an object, you could push it. If you run into it, it'll just push it to the side. So you want to have something that's going to actually push it out. If you are going for level 2, you're actually going to add a third motor to your robot, and you are going to try to swat the obstacle. So this can be something like a baseball bat where you'd hit it out, or a spinning rotary that knocks it out, or whatever you can come up with. So this is where you can become you can design your own swatter, or your what we'd call the active removal device. Okay, so you can either come up with something yourself, or you can search online and figure out what other people have done. So you get to kind of add something to your robot, and feel free to modify your robot if you don't like the way that the robot construction is right now. Go ahead and modify it as you feel fit. And then you need to detect the boundary of the field. Okay, so you know that you have a line around here. Well, we're going to do that with the light sensor. Okay, so you have your robot, and it's going to be cruising around, and it will see the boundary, and it needs to stay within it. Okay, now you can choose to do whatever you want. You could methodically move back and forth in a search pattern around the field if you wanted to, or you could simply randomly move around. And every time you see a boundary, just say, okay, I'm just going to turn around. Okay. Remember, if you just let the robot run long enough, it'll eventually see all the obstacles and swat them out of there. Okay. Then you need to detect the objects. Okay, so you're going to use the ultrasonic sensor for that, and then you will play a sound. Okay, so do something. Okay, so you're going to use the ultrasonic sensor as you cruise around here, and you'll see it, and you'll say, oh, I saw an object, so do something. Okay, that takes you to the final thing, which is take action. So play a sound for sure when you see an obstacle, just to know that you see the obstacle. Because if you choose to do the push, you could just conceivably just not even see the obstacle and just push it out accidentally. So we want to indicate that it's like, okay, when I see that obstacle, I want to push it. Okay. If you're going for level 2, you're going to come up to the obstacle, you notify that there's an obstacle, and then you swat it on out. Okay. All right. So that is the task before you. Now, let's take a look at a couple examples of what other people have done. So let's take a look at here's a level 1 example when using the NXT. So in this situation, the field is marked with blue tape, and there is this has gone with just they've constructed a little V-looking thing that can actually grab onto the cans and push them out. And notice the light sensor is on, and it is continually moving around. Notice that it's just kind of randomly going. So this is a case where it's not methodically, searching the field. It's just kind of randomly going, and if you let it run long enough, it's going to eventually get them all. Okay, so that's one example of a particular design. Okay, let's take a look at another approach here. So in this example, what we have is this person took the approach of saying, well, I'm just going to actually mark the path of the field on here. And so this would be a level 1 where it didn't really have a boundary on it, and it was struggling a little bit, but they're pushing it out of there. Why not? Okay, and then let's take a look at another one. Let's take a look at some level 2s. So here is a level 2 example, and in this situation they have an active swatter. So notice that the robot is moving back and forth. It's on the field, and every time it detects an object, it swats it out. So this is a baseball bat approach. Now this is kind of clever because they just chose to do a black surface and then a white background, but look at that. Look at how they attach that third motor to the side of the robot, and it's just wobbling back and forth, looking around, and really not methodically searching anything, just simply kind of going, and if you leave it long enough, it's going to eventually find it. So let's see if it finds these last 2 boulders. Very slowly. It might see them. It might get both of them, or it might just walk right by them. It pushed him out accidentally. Okay, so that was a level 2 using the NXT. Now let's take a look at one more. So here is a example of an EV3D where we use tennis balls. And notice that this one is a pretty clever design here. It's some sort of a twirling swatter, and so the twirling will eventually actually knock these out of here. So it detects it, twirls, and mops them out of there. Now this one is a little more methodical in how it searches the field. So notice that when it sees it, it really does a 180. So it's kind of doing an S pattern as it moves back and forth. So this would be this is a pretty good search, detect, and SWAT. Okay, so that is the challenge before you. So at this point, you are going to give it a shot. So good luck with this, and hopefully you'll have some fun bringing everything together, and you'll come up with a really innovative design that will accomplish what you want to accomplish.